is an SABC News presentation.
Good morning and welcome to our midweek edition of A View from the House. I'm Kokeli Tanda. We are coming to you live from our parliamentary studios in Cape Town. In our program today, we look at the deliberations around the Traditional Courts Bill. We join the Portfolio Committee on Water and Environmental Affairs as it grapples with the implementation of climate change policy. And we hear about the taboos in the National Council of Provinces. The National Council of Provinces Select Committee on Security and Constitutional Development is grappling with the controversial Traditional Courts Bill. The bill was introduced by government in 2008 but withdrawn from the National Assembly last year after pressure from civil society and human rights activists. Opponents of the Traditional Courts Bill argue that the bill in its present form could strip millions of people in rural areas, rural communities, and women in particular, of some of their most basic rights. The memorandum to the bill says its objectives are to affirm the values of the traditional justice system based on restorative justice and reconciliation and to align them with the Constitution. It further affirms the role of the institution of traditional leadership in enhancing access to justice. Civic organizations have slammed the bill as being unconstitutional, yet traditional leaders argue that the bill has been grossly misinterpreted by civil society. In an interview earlier this year on this program, Nkosi Patekile Holomisa, a president of the Congress of Traditional Leaders, who also serves as an ANC MP in the Portfolio Committee of Justice and Constitutional Development, rejected as nonsense arguments raised by opponents of the bill. Let's take a look.
Well, rural communities, we don't necessarily discriminate against or in favor of women. We consider all members of our communities as citizens, and therefore we give access to justice to all of them. Now the bill, as you have indicated, is merely affirming an existing position. We continue to dispense justice in our courts of traditional leadership, either with the support or without the support of any legislation. It's our way of life, and it is guided by Ubuntu. Ubuntu, as everybody seems to be talking about it these days, is our way of life. We look at the interests of the individual as well as interests of the community and try to harmonize the two, whether you're a woman or not a woman.
To talk to us about some of the objectives and shortcomings of the bill, we are now joined by the chairperson of the NCOP Select Committee on Security and Constitutional Development, Mr. Cheta Mufokeng. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning, Kokeli. Good morning to the viewers.
Mr. Mufokeng, there you have it, the President of Contralesa rejecting insinuations that the bill in its present form is unconstitutional and will not pass the constitutional muster. What's your view?
My view is that some of the aspects of the bill are constitutional and others are not.
But why was this bill brought back to Parliament on the parliamentary agenda when it was withdrawn earlier last year from the National Assembly?
The purpose was for the NCOP to deal with those aspects of the bill where people show some dissatisfaction.
You just indicated that some aspects of the bill are not constitutional. Which aspects of the bill are you referring to?
I think the issue of the boundaries. The boundaries, as the bill stipulates, are based on the traditional leadership governance framework, which takes the bill, the boundaries, as those of apartheid colonialism.
Opponents to the bill are adamant that the bill is discriminating against women, stripping them of their basic constitutional rights.
I don't think that is the case, and that is not the intention of the bill. Section 9 of the bill provides that before the proceedings, the presiding officer must ensure that women are equally represented like men and no participated in the proceedings.
You've been holding public hearings sometime last week. Who are the stakeholders you're talking to, and what are they telling you?
No, the public hearings has been conducted by the provinces. We are still to hold ours here in Parliament after the recess. But last week we had a workshop with the National Research Foundation under customary law at the University of the Cape Town.
Some opponents to the bill say women have never been consulted, even though it will directly affect them and their lives. Are you consulting them, especially women in the remote rural areas?
The indication you got from the provinces is that women were consulted, and the purpose of the public hearings we are about to hold is to give them further chance.
The Minister of Women, Children and People with Disabilities is of the view that the bill in its present form is a setback for women. Has she communicated her concerns to the committee, or are you planning to engage her at some point?
We only got an indication that she wants to make some submission before the committee.
The DA has called on the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development to shelve the bill because of growing opposition. Is that a possibility?
I'm not aware. So far, the process that we have undertaken is to consult as broadly as possible and to hear the views of those people who support and those who are opposed to the bill.
You earlier indicated that provinces are holding public hearings. What is the feedback that you're getting from the provinces?
So far, we have received negotiating mandates from 5 provinces, but we have not as yet perused them as the select committee, and the province of Mpumalanga has requested an extension.
From where you sit, will the majority of provinces, is it possible for the majority of provinces to garner enough support to have this bill passed through the NCOP?
The indication we have received is that most of the provinces do not support the bill, but we still have to go and deal with those negotiating mandates, and we'll pronounce later.
Well, what happens if the NCOP passes the bill? Does it go back to the National Assembly?
Yes, it goes back to the National Assembly to support it or to reject it.
You've been listening to stakeholders and communities making representations. What do you consider to be the most critical shortcomings of the bill as raised by stakeholders?
It is the issue of the boundaries, as I earlier indicated, and the issue of legal representation, because the bill as it stands does not allow any legal representation.
The chairperson of the Select Committee on Security and Constitutional Development, Mr. Cheta Mufukeng. That's all we have time for this morning. Thank you very much for coming to, sir.